inspire, empower, grab your girls and soar a little higher. Unlock the fire in you, cause real women don't bitch, no. Real women don't, 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 real women don't bitch.
Hey, thank you for joining me on the Real Women Don't Bitch podcast. This is your proud host, August Crenshaw, aka Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless. I am the #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs because building mental muscle is necessary in order to implement successful business strategies. This show has been created for the woman who is not excuse-driven and needs help building a profitable business. I will be interviewing women from various fields who are willing to break the silence on struggles that specifically affect female entrepreneurs. Welcome to a show where I and guest speakers from time to time share our methods that help us beast our business no matter what is going on in our lives. Whether you are an online or brick and mortar business owner, this show is for you. We will hit every angle, personal, professional, and spiritual. Why? Because on any given day, you get hit with shit from a scenario involving one, more, or perhaps all of the above. It all impacts you and your mindset towards your business. I have made it my personal mission to provide a space where we dive deep into the BS we face on a day-to-day basis. So, did you see the title of the video today? I titled it, I'm Not Sacrificing Shit Else. Now, that's not exactly how I feel, but I want to have a conversation today because when have you sacrificed too much as an entrepreneur? You know, where do you cut the sacrifices off, and or when are you using the things that you don't want to sacrifice as an excuse for not moving forward? That's the dialogue that I would like to entertain for today. And so before I even begin, because we had a little pre-convo, I let Pika know that I'm a little perturbed because it's like a domino of shit coming to me. I've already kind of gave her an idea of what I was thinking when the topic came up, but I want to know what you're thinking and how you're feeling.
Actually, I'm sharing this to my page right now, and I'm calling it sacrifice or excuse. So I'm gonna leave it at that.
Okay. So, so let's just start off with the question. Okay. You say that's the real question. What are you not willing to sacrifice that is holding you back? And so we can take this from two different angles, and I know that there's a delay between when the responses actually come in. This is why this would have been the perfect topic with people in the dialogue. Is I want to know, what have you sacrificed? Who's willing to say these are the things that I've sacrificed, but this is what I've gained on the other side? Or who's willing to say, I hear what you're saying, August, but at the end of the day, these are the kind of things that I will not sacrifice. Let's see where people stand first, you know, before I start just going buck wild and start calling people out for your inability to make the decisions that you need to make in order to stand behind your business. And while I'm waiting on those comments to come in, let me just add a point of clarity. Now, if you building a side hustle, you want to bring in a couple extra $100 from your Avon business or selling your nutritional, products, but you got a pretty decent job and you want some side money, this conversation is not directed at you. Okay, because we got to remember to put the shoe on where it fits. But if you are, I got to get off this job in order to build this empire. If you're like, my soul doesn't feel good if I'm not doing what God put me on the earth to do. If you find yourself having those moments where you just feel like your job is blocking you from even being able to build your business, or your kids or your spouse, and you find yourself sometimes resenting the ones you love because they're getting in your way, this conversation is going to be for you, because you can't have the audacity to believe that you're called to serve and do some amazing things, and also be like totally fired up at people that you feel like are blocking you, but then you don't want to take an accountable perspective and say, no, I actually block myself twice as hard, if not even more, than those people block me. So I'm still waiting to see if some comments come in. I see we got Terry, Camille, Marcia, Kimberly, somebody else came on, and there's some numbers that probably from the watch party. But you want to help us out, Pika? You want to talk about some of the stuff that
Absolutely.
you sacrifice, whichever way you want to go.
It's all good. I mean, I saw them as roadblocks for me as well until I realized that, okay, well, how bad do I want it? So, originally, I tried doing this a couple times with a job on the side, but I realized that I was being sidetracked. I was like veered off in a different direction, and I wasn't able to do the things that I needed to do the way that I wanted to do them in order to create the brand that I'm trying to create, right? So this thing that I'm trying to create, it's not something anyone else has done before, especially in my family. So I get a lot of pushback. I got a lot of people that are like, oh no, but what do you know? What are you actually sacrificing? You're sacrificing this guaranteed paycheck from somebody else, which in my experience is not actually guaranteed. I've been laid off twice before. You know what I mean? That's not really guaranteed. So in order to prevent that coming up again where I have to go search for another job, I'm sacrificing that at the moment. Once I decided to work from home, it became, okay, well, what do you do with your time? How are you going to manage your time then? Because then your daughter needs to be in school or in student care or something like that. And where I saw that as a roadblock, I flipped it. I had to change the way I was thinking. So a lot of things become creative solutions, right? Oh yeah, they could be a roadblock. You can let it stop you right there, or you could look at it and be like, all right, well, what can I do? I am in charge of my business. This is my baby. I get to change the way I see my operating hours. I get to change the way I take care of my daughter. I get to set the tone of how this business runs from here on out. So they can either be roadblocks, or you can sacrifice something else in order to make this work somehow, like a creative solution somehow. So I still have some bullshit I have to deal with. I'm not gonna lie. There's still some mindset stuff I probably should deal with. But yeah, right now it's a creative solution that I need to work through. A lot of times I gotta like step away from it and look at it from a different perspective and realize, okay, there is a way around this if I want it bad enough. So how bad do I really want this?
Absolutely. So I'm going to bring up an excuse that actually perturbs me right now, and I'm going to be real,
Okay.
right? I'm going to say some things, like I said, and for some of my clients, it may get up under their skin, and for some of you that are really close to me, it may get up under your skin. But I put a post up earlier that said 99.99% of what comes out of your mouth is an excuse. You just rationalize that it's a reason. And then I put hashtag, just ask somebody else who did it. And so, for instance, when I'm working with someone and they got things that they got to do, and they're like, oh my God, I can't do it because my kids are in the way. And, and it's like, for real? That your children being in the way of you building your business, for me, that's an excuse. And the reason, you have a luxury. The most people that go with the tradition, you have the luxury that 9 months out of the year, or even longer, because you put them in summer camps and summer programs, your kids aren't even around you. And you've got all of these excess hours or excess time to build your business. But as a mother who does not believe in the traditional norm for education, who lives in a city where I have no family support whatsoever, so I have to wait for my kids to fall asleep for me and my husband even to think that we got quality time with each other, kids can't be the excuse. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, it may get uncomfortable. You want to type out 10 emails and you can only type out one because you do have to help them understand that mommy's working right now. You know what I'm saying? It may be uncomfortable and you may have to adjust what your parenting norms are and what it looks like. But when I hear a woman tell me what she can't do because her kids are in the way, I'm like, that's bullshit. And yes, so it gets up under my skin, and that's just me. So let me stop and let's see what we got. So Camille says, sacrificing unsolicited advice when your family is used to listening and used to you listening and jumping on their counsel, and you sacrifice that to do what you feel is best. Somebody else, Danielle, talked about that the other day on the live. Hell, my children are the reason why my business looks the way that it does. Hashtag use to your advantage. Exactly.
Yep.
Okay, good. You sound like you got something. Please chime in.
But that's exactly what I was talking about. So when she talks about, her kids are the reason that she's chosen to create the business the way she has, is because she's come up with a creative solution, right? She
Yeah.
can see it as that stumbling block where she stops everything. Well, I can't do it anymore, or she figures out how she makes it work. Camille, from what I understand, is also a homeschool mom. You're a homeschool mom. Who else
No,
is a
she's not a
homeschool
homeschool.
mom?
Camille's not a homeschool mom.
She's not a homeschool
No.
mom. Dana is a homeschool mom.
Mm-hmm.
From what I understand. She's trying to do it as a homeschool mom as well. So I was a homeschool mom for a little while, but right now she's in school. But her hours are weird. For us here in Singapore, right? She goes to school. She has to be in school by 7:30. She gets out at 1:45. Now you tell me which 9 to 5 you can go to where you can come back and pick your kids up at 1:45. That's not even a lunchtime. That's in the middle of nothing. Like, it's weird, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'm forced to put her in daycare. Whereas now, as a personal, a private business owner, I can choose to either put her in after school care, or I can pick her up right when school gets out and adjust my hours so that I'm here present with her when she's home. And then when she goes to school, back to sleep, I'm back at work again. Camille said summer homeschool only. Okay.
Yeah, I was laughing at her.
So right now they're homeschooling, right? Kind of. It's still summer for y'all, correct?
Well, no, they're not back in school. They go back to school this week, something like that.
Right. So right now it's still there. She's home with them all day right now.
All day
It's
long,
summer.
and she's
Correct.
still,
Okay.
and it's not like it was when she first started. Now she has a robust business where she has one-to-one clients, where she has a group, where she has inquiries, where she's selling her curriculum. So so now she can't pump the brakes and be like, oh, I built this beautiful business and I'm making this money, but now I can't function in it because my children. Honestly, for me, I believe that the reason why a lot of women use excuses for why they can't build their business is because you also have unreasonable expectations. So you can't be like, oh my God, I want to get off my job and I want to make 6 figures in the next 12 months. But then you turn around and you're like, well, I don't really have an online presence. I don't really promote my business online. And I definitely don't do networking events, so I'm not in people's faces. You don't have a connection system. You don't have collaborators. You don't have a referral system. And then what you're really doing is you're allowing yourself to get anxious, and you have an entitlement mentality. I keep on telling people, quit throwing this stuff off on millennials, because millennials are not the ones with entitlement mentality. A lot of you grown over 40 women that want the damn world given to you today, that just barely started understanding what you started doing. You haven't even thrown yourself fully into the entrepreneurial endeavor, but yet and still you want something to change. And then you want something to change, but then you won't make the sacrifices. And so that was my original question. When are the sacrifices too much? Like, I remember being like really, really low with the funds. And I remember going through so much. When my birthday came, I didn't sit there and be like, oh my God, well, in order for me I deserve, you know what I'm saying? I deserve, to have fun and to kick it and live it up. When my Mother's Day came, I wasn't like, oh my God, I need to feel like someone loves me, so I deserve this, that, and the other. I was like, look, Mr. Crenshaw, just to make sure we're on the same page, I don't want shit for my birthday. I don't want shit for Mother's Day. If it requires you to go out there and spend money at this point, every little dime that we get makes a difference in running the business. You want to help me? You want to give me a Mother's Day present? Proofread these emails. You want to help me? Go look at these videos that I made and make sure you think that they are a good enough training quality to put out there as a webinar. And yeah, I see your comment. Thank you, Ms. Gloria. We have a Zoom issues today, so we couldn't do it on there. We have to live stream through Facebook. But I made it very clear that, financially we weren't in the space. So I didn't, because let's think about this. We do this, right? When we are immature financially, when we ain't really got no money, we go on trips and we spend money on things and we're like, because I deserve. But if you've been spending your entire life planting seeds, working for somebody else, and you have poor financial acuity or responsibility because you knew better, but you didn't do better. Now, all of a sudden, you want to build a business, which requires you to sacrifice time and money in order to get it established. And you still trying to cling on to the shit you did in the employee world of it's Friday, it's the weekend, and I have to kick it, and it's my birthday, and it's this person's celebration, and it's this person's family reunion, and it's this thing and that thing. When do you cut it off? And so before anybody answers the question, let me throw this slant in there. when you start talking like I'm talking right now, a lot of people get turned off and they be like, see, see, August, you don't have no family values and you don't believe in this, that, and the other, and you just want to cut off everything. But I'm not going, what I'm going to do is I believe in my family and I'm not going to risk my relationships with my family all for a dream. Well, first of all, I challenge whether or not your dream is at your core, number one. Number two, we may be talking about what feels very uncomfortable, 2 to 5 years of hardcore sacrifice for you literally to live the rest of your life in bliss. 2 to 5 years. So you mean to tell me that you are uncomfortable disrupting the chaos that you created by selling into the American dream? In order for you to spend the next, and a lot of you all are 40-ish years old, and on average, women live to be over 80. So you mean to tell me you got a problem sacrificing 5? Because you didn't already sacrifice 40 doing it wrong. And you're not going to sacrifice 5 for your dream in order to have freedom on the other end and to be able to create real experiences. Because see, you think you creating experiences, but what comes on the back end of your experiences, you're like, well, I still took my family, to this place and we went here and we created memories. But when you came back home, you made it in a nightmare, because as soon as they asked you for something, then you started saying, you are ungrateful. I just took you out the country. You don't appreciate this and you're asking for all of this shit. And I just need you to be cool, because you're tense because what was back at home for you was the electric bill and the rent and the gas bill and all of the other responsibilities that you had. Where if you're going to really teach them how to navigate the law of attraction and the ability to manifest and create, you're supposed to be doing these things with ease, not forcing stuff to happen. So you said, Camille said, that's not the absence of family values. We think about that wrong. But again, we're looking at the dream without the and I'm going to have to come on here. I don't know why. Facebook.
She's talking about the reality lens.
Your full comment. But I'm looking for some dialogue on this one. Dang it, where's the comment at? Here we go. You said, but again, we're looking at the dream without the reality lens.
Right.
Okay, so I said a lot. Come on, Peekaboo.
Honestly, I get the same kind of conversations. It's not, not necessarily about business, because you deal with business, but I deal with the emotional side. So I get relationship questions where the one person who's upset, they want to be right more than they want to fix the situation. So you might have these values about, how you want your business to look like. You might have this beautiful idea of what your business would look like, but in reality, what does that mean? You're going to have long hours. You're going to have late nights. You're going to be some days where you have to put aside what you want to go eat and go spend time and go drinking on the weekends or whatever to be able to make sure you get your work done. You got to make sure that you go out and beat the streets to find out who's available, who's looking for, clients or whatever, in order to get the kind of people to come back and see you. You got to go live on all your platforms. The things that you're teaching us right now to make sure that people know that you are available for business. You can't just show up once in a while. You can't put up a flyer every so often and then hope people know that you're there. That's not how that works. You got to be working it every single day. So it comes down to, well, how badly do you want to be right about your idea of what business is, and how badly do you want your business to actually thrive? Because what you want, this idea that you have in your head, and what actually needs to take place for that to happen are usually 2 different things. It's a completely different adulting lesson that you got going on there.
How bad do you want to be right about your expectations for your business? And let's just also make this very clear, because as a coach, I see this over and over and over again. When most of you all classify as being a business owner is a person who filed for a DBA, did your LLC paperwork, got your business licenses, went and got your EIN through, through the IRS, and then you're established business owner. And then you actually have a intellectual product or service that you could provide, or maybe a product that you created, you're able to sell it, and then bam, you make money. No, that doesn't make you a business owner. That makes you a hustler. And so, for instance, one of the things that I've really been drilling in with the women that are in the F&B group
is this whole thing about responsibility. Because let's think about it. We talk about strengths and weaknesses. And if any of you all have ever done any work on strengths and weaknesses, what are we often taught? That you should actually rely on your strengths. And then that's why as a business owner, you get people that are, stronger in the areas that you're weak in order for them to complement you. And that is true to a degree. But guess what? When you are building a business, if you listen to the people that have made it, like listen to somebody like Master P or somebody who had to learn everything from the ground up, what you're going to hear them talk about is how not understanding your paperwork, not knowing how to read the books, not knowing how to look at the contracts is how a lot of people get bamboozled by not the street thugs that's getting them for a couple thousand, but by the corporate thugs in the suits that end up getting you for millions, because that might have been your weak point. But you have to be strong in it. You have to be strong in inventory. You have to be strong in bill collecting. You have to be strong in marketing. You have to be strong in creativity. Like you said, you got to do all of these different things. And to do all of the things means that something has to be sacrificed, because there's no amount of money that will allow you to circumvent the process of building a business. You could pay somebody buku funds, but let me tell you something. If you can't articulate who your ideal client is, what's the unique identifying factor in your business, what's the unique the service that you're providing, there is nobody out there that can take that and translate it into something that's going to generate revenue for you. What you will get is somebody who will take all of your stuff and then they'll feed you a bunch of information. And let me tell you how naive a lot of you all are. As soon as you get some data, you be like, oh my God, but I paid this firm and this is the results and these people looked and I got these clicks, but you didn't get any conversion. You didn't get anything that was solid, and maybe what they put out there, it got those kind of people to click, but it didn't connect with the core of who you are and how you provide your service. So whenever somebody comes to you, it's still not going to translate into funds in your pocket. And understanding it as a business owner that you're the first line of defense, that you're the first point of contact, that if you can't articulate it, no one else can articulate that for you. And getting that level of clarity is paramount, but you get it by being in the thick of stuff. Let me see what
exactly.
I'm gonna read
in the meantime, I wanted to give you the example. Camille says, for example, you got to understand that if you decide to take that trip, you need to schedule your emails and post so that you are still present during that time, still do a live video on the trip. You can't disappear and expect millions in return so you can live your best life. And I totally get that. And when you're talking about the strengths and weaknesses, the first thing that came to mind was I deal with fitness people, personal trainers and stuff. Imagine if you want to go out there and tell people you're a fitness trainer and your strength is actually upper body. So you got these big hulking guys that are big like this, and then you look at their legs and they're like, are you serious? How are you going to tell me you're a fitness trainer if you don't work all of your muscles? You can't just work the ones that are your favorite. You got to do all of it. So it's the same thing with business, the same thing with relationships.
Yeah, absolutely.
You got to work the weaker ones.
Yeah, and so you got to think about it. And these different things that you're doing, how does it take you away from your business? And so what a lot of you all are doing is you're pacifying the stress. You're not pushing through the stress. You are pacifying the stress by saying, I deserve this vacation, or it doesn't even have to be vacations. It could be the breaks that you're taking in your home. It could be the TV shows you're watching or whatever it is that you're entertaining. Instead of saying, dang it, even though this is frustrating the hell out of me, I've got to look at this tutorial. I've got to try to implement this and fall flat on my face and it doesn't work. And then I have to go back out there and put it out there again. You can't get where you want to go in your entrepreneurial endeavor if you've always got something that will pull you away. And the reason why you've implemented that thing is so that you can woosah. And so once again, I'm asking the question, when is the sacrifice too much? Because some people be like, no, August. And the first thing y'all want to do is y'all want to dumb this down to, and I said it, you dumb this down to self-care. You want, well, no, because you got to take care of yourself and you got to do this. But you answer this question for me. If you need to build your business and you get a roadblock and something's frustrating to you, and you know that the only way you're going to get through it is if you sacrifice. And then you say, but this is just so stressful. This is stressing me out. Instead of you finding the wherewithal within and disciplining yourself to change the perspective and say, I'm not going to be stressed, but I'm going to woo-side and then move forward and do this. At the end, if you don't make the sacrifice in order to be able to push through and to build the strength, the nerve, and the courage, once you die down from pacifying yourself with whatever event or activity that you took on, instead of dealing with that thing, on the backside of that is then you feeling like, man, why can't my dream just happen? You know, I hate this job. I don't want to work this job anymore. I just want to get away from here. I want to build my business because I can feel it. God is pulling me at my soul. This is what I'm supposed to be doing. So you fucked yourself up, right? There's no self-care in that, because what you did is, in order to get away from the frustration of growing and learning something new in your business, in order to have a solid foundation, you pacified that by saying, I need to take a break, I need to unwind, only for you to feel worse than you did because you didn't push through. So it can't be self-care, because it's killing your soul not to actually live out your dream. So you have to sacrifice that so-called thing that you think is self-care and actually push through. You want to read the comments and comment?
Absolutely. Camille said self-care is just too basic and easy a response. You can work self-care into your daily habits if you want to be intentional. And I totally agree with that. I was itching to say something, because from where I'm sitting, self-care, when we say self-care, like when you and I say self-care, is because we've been up for like 36 hours straight. We've been trying to do everything possible, and we just need the break because we feel a migraine coming on. We've had the TV on, like not the TV, like the screens on everywhere. We're trying to make sure we get everything done. That's when we take an intentional break to go refresh, reset, and then we come back to this stuff. It's not, we had a break, we had a good night's sleep, we woke up the next morning, we're not feeling what we got to do right now, but no, I need self-care. So I'm going to push this aside again and go do something else in order to say that it's self-care. That's not the same thing. We're not making extra time to do self-care and not do the work that we're supposed to be doing. We're not pushing it off to the side. We're still getting everything we need to get done, but we're making sure that we do get some sleep somewhere. We make sure that we eat every day, because it's really easy to get caught up in all this stuff and forget all that stuff on the side.
And that's a valid point that I don't even know if you realize that you brought it in, because I'll hear women talk about the need for quote unquote self-care, and that's why they pull back from their business. But when you're not stressed, you still building your business, and you don't eat every day. You don't eat all day. So you can't really say that because you stopped and went and got a pedi or a mani, or you even stopped and meditated, but you didn't stop and give your body no veggies. You didn't stop and give yourself a cup of water. You know what I'm saying? Self-care is supposed to be just an integral part of how you exist and how you live. And for some of us, I know like myself, executing and moving and thriving and working my business is something that replenishes and fuels me energetically and fuels my soul. So that is part of my self-care. It gives me a reason to wake up every morning, because I'm operating and I'm activating myself from a spirit of purpose. And so if you are forcing yourself to do something because it is a revenue generating machine, but it isn't necessarily attached to why you are put into existence on this earth, then yeah, you will feel dragged. You will feel nagged. You will feel the need to get away, because to be honest with you, real entrepreneurs that are in the zone, we suffer from over creative syndrome. If anything, we need to be slowed down, because it's like, for real, August, so how many books you gonna write, and you're gonna do a podcast, and you're gonna launch it? You can't, every once in a while somebody has to remind, girl, slow down. You can't do it all. And the more you know and the more you grow, it's very difficult to turn off the creative juices, and you'll have so many downloads come to your mind. You will have to remember that everything that you receive is not even for right now. You're receiving divine inspiration so that you could be building upon to execute later. And so that's another thing that lets you know whether or not you are getting sound, clear, coaching, and whether or not you're operating in your calling, because in the beginning it could be difficult, but there are certain things that are hard that become easier. And that's the whole thing. When we talk about this sacrificial lifestyle for entrepreneurship, a lot of people are resistant, because whether you realize it or not, you act like a kid. You have childish behavior. Imagine a kid just playing, and mama says you got to sit down. and it's only for 5 minutes, but they sitting there like, I don't want to sit down. I want to play. Like they got to sit down forever. But you're like, no, you got to sit down. You got to unwind and we got to go take a nap. You're going to take a nap for an hour. Then you can get back up and you can tear up the house and put your toys everywhere and go outside and run and play. And that's what a lot of you guys act like. You act like you sitting down on life for the rest of your life. And so if you've already internalized it as it's going to be forever that you're making these sacrifices, that's where you've messed up. And so you look at these people and you say, look at their lifestyle. Look at what they're doing. They got the 4-hour work week. They're traveling here. They're doing these things. But every single person will tell you about the journey. Or they might not tell you, but they have that piece of the journey where it was like I was pushing like hell to get through the thick of it. And if every time you push and you get right here and there's a reason that it makes you stop, guess what? You have to keep starting over. And I keep trying to tell you guys that every time you start over, you make it more difficult to build your business because there's an audience that's watching you that cannot trust you to be there and stand and create these products. I mean, at the end of the day, I understand they got a robust machine and it's a company, but you know what? Coca-Cola is always on the shelves. The Fruit Loops are always on the shelves. The almond milk, it's there. The fruits and veggies, they're there. You know, and they might get sold out and realize they have to retake inventory for supply and demand. But the companies, they're always making movies. The music is always being created because these people are operating in their creative zone of genius. They don't get to cut it off because they know as soon as they stop, then they become irrelevant. You have to stay at the top of people's minds. And because you all don't have exorbitant amount of funds to have a budget to market yourself, guess what? You got to do the dirty work. That means you're going live everywhere. That means you're putting a podcast. That means you're attending networking events. That means you team no sleep to a degree sometimes because when you don't have money, you have to put in muscle. And you got to put in muscle regardless. But there's a season and there's a time when some of that weight is lifted. Plus, you are better at executing what you do, but you're not going to get there if every time life bumps you, you have to stop. You're going to have to start over and over and over again. You
exactly.
said,
so don't ever lose that momentum. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was looking at the comments. Camille said, I wonder if we change our language from sacrificing to just plain old building, would we see the sacrifice as something we need to break from? That's a good point. And then Evangelist Laura said, in my opinion, it's my opinion, but it's all about determination, control, and vision and destiny for self. But the word control. At the end of the day, and I wish we were having a dialogue. I hate that we're not on Zoom, but that's all I'm talking about because making sacrifices is about operating out of a spirit of control. And so you can have determination and you can have the vision, and you can know that it's your destiny for yourself. But if you don't have the control to exercise the discipline is a very key one too, Ms. Gloria, because you can have all the determination that you want. You could even control certain things, but if you don't have the discipline to do the right things, then you're still not going to make it. You know what I'm saying? You're still going to find yourself going in a circle. And I know too many people that are not experiencing what it is that they know that is promised. That gut feeling. I know that I'm supposed to be doing this in my life or in my business. And it's that kind of like, what is that? I think Terry called and post, when is it my turn? You know what I'm saying? When is it my turn? She's talking about something a little bit different. But the point is, we don't get to wait on a turn. We either go out there and get it or we don't. And so you got the goal getters and the goal getters that get. And you have the dreamers who are always sleeping with their eyes closed, hoping for something to happen. And so it takes sheer determination coupled with discipline, with right knowledge, with self-control for the vision that you see for yourself in order to get where you're going. And so the discipline and the sacrifice and control is where I see a lot of entrepreneurs fall off because you make inappropriate decisions, but it takes you like 5 years down the line for you to say, man, if I knew that was going to happen, I wouldn't have did that. I'm going to stop because I think you got something. I can feel like you got something to say, Pika. But I put a post.
Well, you mentioned the 4-hour work week.
I'll post later.
Everybody reads that book, right? The 4-hour work week. Oh my God, yes, that's the life I want. The 4-hour. Who the hell starts a business and starts off with a 4-hour work week? Let's talk about the 18 hour days that you have to be able to get to that place where you can have a 4-hour work week. A 4-hour work week means you put in time and effort and discipline into creating the business, into understanding what all you need for your specific business to work, to be able to put the processes and systems in place so that you don't have to physically type everything out every 5 seconds. So maybe you take 4 hours on a Sunday, plan everything out for the rest of the week, and then automatically post. You know what I'm saying? That's the kind of 4-hour week you're looking at. You don't start that off the gate. That's not how you start your business.
Think about it from the perspective of creating a course, because I know people that sit back and they're like, oh, I'm going to create a course because I want to get straight to the passive income. Okay, but when you create the course, in your mind, initially, all you got is yourself. And so you say, ooh, I'm going to do modules 1 through 7. And I've dealt with this with multiple clients. Okay, so you're going to create a course. You can't even get somebody to pay you high ticket for 1-to-1, but you're going to sell a high ticket passive income. Okay, that's cool, boo-boo. You keep on telling me that, but let me see what you got. And so they'll tell me their vision. They got this, this 7-step course that they want to create, and they're going through and they're making the videos and they want to make everything perfect. And they've at least got the course created, and they're going to have their little email series to welcome people in, and when they come, and they're going to have their links, and then bam, they're just going to click it and they're going to go. But as they're working with me and they're dealing with the frustration that they are insecure because they're really not confident in what to put in the course. And I know why they're not confident, because they're not experiencing any feedback. But as they finally start securing the 1-to-1 clients and they graduate into having group coaching programs, the kind of questions that people ask them, they're like, oh my God, if I put this course out there, there would be so many holes in my system or my process, because without the dialogue from your ideal client, you don't know what it is that you're missing. And every single person that has ever worked with me that tried to come out the gate creating a course, once they go back to the end and create the course, they're like, oh my God, this looks completely different than anything else I would have manifested. They understand every frequently asked question they should answer. They understand every Q&A topic that should already be there. They got the main subjects. They got the subtopics. They got the PDFs. They got all of this stuff to make a completely thriving system, all because they had to go through the thick of the experiences. And so, and initially it's a live experience, and then you take those live recordings and then you make it a course, and then you put it out there. Because if you notice it, a lot of the big wigs that you buy courses from, what do you listen to? You listen to Q&A calls that they just let you see the audio instead of the video of people that they've already talked to. But a lot of you are, but you don't want to go through the thick of the live experience. You want to bypass all of the foundational building. It's like you want to put the roof, but you didn't put the walls up to the house so that you can go ahead and get to the money. And it's all gonna come crumbling down. He said, yes, you can on a job, but not a business. 2 different scenarios. And I wish I knew which part she was saying that to. Can you help me out, Pika?
I'm not sure
either,
but I did want to talk about the fact that you were talking about watching other people's stuff, like other people's webinars and stuff. That's another section of sacrifice, right? You have to put in money. You got to see what other people are doing out there. Maybe it's skills that you're trying to build up. It's one of your weak areas you're trying to build up and make sure that you're better. But as you do those things, you sign up to other people's email scripting, you see other people's webinars, you take classes from other people, you take coaching from other people. And as you do all of that, you see what kind of level of service these people are giving, and you decide for yourself, what is your ideal client need? What are you capable of delivering as well? So all of that is a sacrifice too. The time taken to develop your skills that you don't already have in order for you to be the best possible coach out there or best possible business owner out there. And then in turn, when you create your product, you take all of that into consideration. So all of that, time sacrifice, money sacrifice, what do you really need as far as luxury in your life, self-care sacrifices, all of that stuff, all of it comes into play.
Yeah, and I want to bring
something. Oh, the 4-day work week is what you said, sorry.
Oh, okay, yeah, you might be able to do, but even if you do that on a job, and just to put that out there really quick, what's your income need? Because I remember when I worked 4 days a week, it was 12-hour shifts. So we were talking about the 4-hour work week, not a 4-hour work, not even a 4-hour work day. And so you show me a job where you can work for 4 hours for 1 week where somebody's employing you. And then I'll show you that you part-time and you just come in and stock shelves once a week. You know what I'm saying?
And even then, what's that money look like? It's not the money you want.
You getting pay $8.50 an hour, but you're not finna do that. I mean, you gotta be Bill Gates himself that it's 4 hours. You spending $100,000 just to speak to me for an hour, you know, which I don't know what his rates are, but there are people out there that their fees to even talk to them is proprietary information, that it literally gets that serious. But I want to go back to the whole thing because we're talking about this sacrifice, right? So a lot of you all, at the end of the day, I don't care what you say, you cheap. You ain't never got no money to sacrifice. You ain't never got no money to invest in yourself for coaching. But you got money for everything else under the sun that you should not have. And then you want to whine, oh my God, why are they charging that much for coaching? And people are just exploiting people. You want somebody to teach you something that sets you up financially for the rest of your life. And you don't even have 2 nickels to get together to give to them. So you know what you are going to have to do? You're going to have to go like you said. More is caught than taught. You can get the information any way you want to.
Yep.
Now, you might not want to pay me $7,500 for 6 months of coaching, which is soon to be expired, but you're going to have to pay $2,000 to get this person's online course. And then you know what you have to do? You have to sit there and wait for every single email every day and say, okay, if I take this template and I change it, well, when I signed up for their freebie and I got that, let me study their freebie. What kind of things that they talk about on their video? What kind of emails did they send? And you still gonna get lost, because if you don't understand how to use the CRM system to pull somebody up out of a series because they clicked the link and actually purchased, you're gonna piss somebody off because you still sending them emails to buy some shit where they already paid you. You're gonna be trying to upsell them to something that they're not supposed to be buying. It's still gonna be some technological stuff you gotta figure out on your own, but nevertheless, you're still gonna have to go eat. And guess what? They're dripping it to you. So that means every single day you got to read their emails, you got to look at their videos, you got to study the marketplace and study what somebody else is doing. And for some of you, depending on what kind of product is, because you're doing it that way, you're actually behind the curve of time because you didn't want to make the necessary sacrifices. And so that's another sacrifice. We talked a lot about the time.
Yep.
We talked a lot about the kids, but a lot of you all need to understand that you're not fit to be an entrepreneur because you're not willing to sacrifice the money. There is no way in the world that you're going to come to me and want me to help you understand how to sell something for $2,000 and you can't, and you sitting there looking at me crazy because I got a group where you can be in there for $200. You know what I'm saying? You all don't want to give up anything. You all have the audacity to want your gift to just unfold, but you don't want to sacrifice time. You don't want to sacrifice money. You make all of these different excuses. That's why people like Gary Vaynerchuk cuss y'all out and tell you to get the fuck on and that you're not built to be an entrepreneur because you don't want to make the necessary sacrifices. Real talk.
I don't know what to say after that. Like, I think we hit it all on the head. I think we've tackled every possible sacrifice we could possibly make. I mean, look at us right now. It's 2 p.m. in Eastern Standard Time. It's about to be 3 o'clock in the morning over here. Gloria said, I said that to say that I have worked 4-hour days and still had my whole money. This is in Washington, D.C., possibly a different game than some on a job, and it was not part-time.
Yeah, and once again, so but at the end of the day, and I thought you were gone, Miss Gloria, but let's still bring clarity to this. Can you please tell me that from the time that you started working, age 12, 13, 17, whatever age it is, that you started working a job where you had all the money that you needed in order to be able to take care of yourself, and the first job that you were offered was for you to work 4 hours a day and to still have your money? And that it was a substantial amount of money for you to be able to take care of yourself, and that's just the way that it popped out? Or did you start off working a job and you was flipping burgers, or you started off in the mail room and you built yourself up? Like I gave, even though it was an extreme example with somebody like Bill Gates, I said there are people that can build themselves up, but that's the same thing Pika said. You can't start off wanting a 4-hour work week or a 4-hour work day. What went into play? Was it you putting in the sacrifice of the time of going to school to get certification, to get degrees? Did you work somewhere else and get a certain level of experience? There's a price to pay for anything that we want, and we cannot think that we're going to circumvent the system just because the internet exists. That's another reason why a lot of people are so spoiled. Oh my God, I can build a business on the internet and I've got access to all of the billions of people on the planet. But you do realize, just like you got access to everybody else has access to everybody else. So it's your blessing and your curse at the same time. So what makes you stick out like a sore thumb? Because everything that everybody got, somebody else has it. You got your health products, they got their health products. I had a conversation with somebody that's in one of my groups who swore up and down that they got the cleanest standards for their health products, and somebody else that's in the group who's into holistic living and veganism and stuff like that was like, no, sweetie, no, they not. She brought up a company that I never even heard of. Now, they might be neck and neck. They might be a 2% difference from each other, but the point is that there's so many freaking options out there. You want to live healthy living, you got the options from going to Weight Watchers, you got the option from doing a keto diet, to go get you a fitness coach that also specializes in nutrition, to buy products from one of these places like Quickstar, Arbonne, Dynamax, or something like that. There are a plethora of resources out there. And because nowadays, the only thing that somebody has to do to label themselves as an entrepreneur is get a Facebook business page and a PayPal link. A lot of people got to get through the scammers who are actually willing to make the sacrifices and finesse the people that you should be serving. But because you don't want to make the sacrifices and legitimately show up, they going through the scammers before they get you. And you said, no, I had to build myself to that point over the years. I started out at, don't remember, but a low figure. And that's my whole point. It's all about the process. It's all about the build. He said it didn't come easy. It's all about the building. And let me just add this with like no shade whatsoever, because I don't know your whole life story. But with whatever it is that you've done, because you're listening to a podcast about entrepreneurship. What happened with those opportunities that right now you are pursuing entrepreneurship so hard? Was all, you know, and I'm not saying you got to answer all of this right now, but these are the kind of questions that I ask people because I love to bring out the thick of stuff for people. If you're pursuing an entrepreneurial endeavor now, do you need to or do you want to? And if you're doing it because you want to, that's a different ball game. But if you're doing it because you need to, then what happened with what you were doing when all you had to give was 4 hours a day to somebody else? If you just operated off of the traditional work hour of 8 hours a day, you have 4 more hours to be building your own empire. If you had known then what you know now, and if you had sacrificed that time then to build where you are now, would you not have that same level of income and then some in your entrepreneurial endeavor right now? But if your situation is such that you are working to build right now, got you, that you got to start building right now, then you have to really look at things and say, wow, you know, you can't expect that all of a sudden things are going to turn around and you're going to experience that same thing. And something wasn't done that could have been done better in the past. And that's the ugly thing about entrepreneurship. This is not about blaming ourselves. This is not about, look at how stupid I was. I squandered that lump sum of money. I made the wrong decisions. This is what should make the sacrificing easier for you to say, dang, all these opportunities that I had in life to make this money, to do these things, after all of these years, here it is, I haven't set myself up to live the good life now. So something I did was drastically wrong. And not that I got to spend the same amount of years. If you spend 40 years going in circles, it doesn't mean you're going to spend 40 years building a business. But once again, why can't you make hardcore sacrifices for a couple of years to catch up with all of the reverse backwards ish you did in the past? That's all I'm saying.
And I got another question out there, though. This is something, I think it's related as well. You were talking about believing in people, right? I think it's funny that people want a magical solution to their lives, but don't want to believe in magic. You see the magic in all of us. You've seen that I'm capable of really changing people's lives with the way I bring them into their feelings, right? The things that I bring up for them to be able to relate. You believe in my magic. It took me a little bit for me to believe in my magic. But how am I supposed to sit here in front of you and say, I need a coach. I want to believe. I want a magical solution to all of my problems, but I sit here and refuse to believe in myself. That's another sacrifice you, as a coach, have to sit there and witness and wait till we catch up to what you see. And that's not always fair either. That's another sacrifice.
Yes, not only is it not fair, but that was part of the reason why I was perturbed before we even got on this live video, because that's another thing that a lot of you all don't even want to admit to. You just want the dream to come to you. You just want to put a label on yourself, and then, oh, look at me, I'm a coach, or look at me, I'm a badass business owner. But then when it's really time for you to fully execute, you don't do that. And initially, a coach, you know what I'm saying, they giving you the game, they giving you the training, and they there. But some of you guys, and that's why you got to know how to be effective as a coach, because I'll pull back in a heartbeat. You know what I'm saying? I will be there, but I will also put a hard foot to your ass and be like, look, at the end of the day, it's not my responsibility to hold you up. When you're going through rough seasons, rough times, it's meant for me to be there. But some of you all, you act like if you go get a coach, you're going to get the magic formula. A coach will open up your eyes and say, have you tried this? And you'd be like, no, I never thought about it that way. And you might get out there and try it, and it was almost successful, but didn't work. And you got to go back to the drawing board and tweak it. But the point is they opened you up to something that you did not see. Sometimes they open you up to something you like, dang it, oh my God, that was the straight juice, August. And now, you know, I'm spreading my wings with this. What's the next thing that could be added on to it? But to just have this expectation that you're going to get help and it's going to be the secret recipe for everything to work out. No, honestly, what coaches do is turn the switch on in you for your own greatness. See, I'm supposed to give you structures, systems, and strategies and help you with your mindset to get you to realize the greatness that's inside of you. But most of you all don't run to coaches like me, because when you hear that, that actually sounds like the work that you don't want to sacrifice and do.
It sting a little.
It does sting. What you want is you want somebody to just say, if I put in 1, 2, 3, then I'm going to be successful, not realizing the level of internal work that you have to do. And so I look at a lot of women and I'm like, so you mean it, you know, you looking at me. Every time you're supposed to move forward, you get railroaded with shit. You don't believe that that's your fault. The world is just unfair to you. Everything is just been throwing shit to you. And a lot of you all know that if you Christian or you practice the law of attraction and all that stuff, if you really believe in what you're saying, you have to go back to the drawing board and you have to look at what you did. You praying, but when you prayed and missed. You said you wanted to attract it, but you didn't have the right spirit of gratitude or attitude, and you improperly manifested. Now you don't want to own that shit. Now you don't want to have that conversation. So you can have things come into your life and railroad you every once in a while. But if every time me and you supposed to move forward, it's always some shit. It ain't always some shit, baby. It's always you. Because that's not what happens on the journey. And at some point, you have to really decide that you're going to push through. And once you knock the wall down, the wall is down. And most of the time, the wall is invisible. Any of you ever read the book, The Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkinson? It talks about the invisible wall of fear. For most of you, it's just an invisible wall. But if you could just get on the other side, see, you don't trust yourself. You won't leave that job because you don't believe that you can create the income that you're supposed to create with the business that you're supposed to do. You won't stand up to these people because you're afraid that you won't meet anybody else that'll be in your corner. You don't believe that you're great enough to be surrounded by a better version of people. All of these things that you won't sacrifice and you won't give up is what you're saying is that you don't believe that you deserve. You're saying that you don't believe that you will attract and you don't believe that you will do greater. So then you settle for the relationships. You settle for the job. You settle for the position instead of saying, but you know, but I can't. But I can. I don't care what it is that I'm dealing with or what struggles that I'm facing in my business. The first question I ask myself is, what can I do? What can I do? Most of you all say, what the hell is going on? Well, I'll tell you what the hell is going on. You manifesting every potential obstacle that can get in your way. Every day I see a woman that has multiple kids, that has a job, that has a struggle, that has an unsupported spouse, that has low levels of income. I see women bust through all of these distractions, all of these myths, and still build profitable, sustainable businesses, which is why I created that post. 99.99% of what comes out of your mouth is an excuse that you have justified as a reason. And all you have to do is hashtag ask somebody who did it. What makes you different? You don't think you're special enough to do above and beyond just like they did? That's your own mindset.
So here's my final question to all y'all listening so far, and thank you so much for listening all this while. But my final question is, are you willing to sacrifice all those things, those bad habits, those egoistic feelings and ideas? Are you willing to sacrifice all that shit so you can grow into the person you need to be so you can get this damn thing rolling? Or do you want to stay where you are because it's comfortable? because you know what it looks like, you know what it feels like. A known devil is better than an unknown devil, right? But are you willing to sacrifice the things that are actually hurting you in your business or in your life? It's something I ask all of my clients too. Are you willing to let go of this idea of who you're supposed to be, what this role is supposed to be in a relationship, so you can have the ideal relationship, that happily ever after? It's possible, but you got to let go of some things. So what are you willing to sacrifice for real?
Absolutely. So the ultimate question at the end is really, how bad do you want it? That's what it really boils down to. How bad do you want it? And every time you get ready to open up your mouth and say, I would have, but, everything that comes after that but, you need to ask yourself, is it a reason or is it an excuse? I would have, but my husband. Excuse. I would have, but my kids. Excuse. I would have, but my money was funny. Excuse. I would have, but there wasn't enough time. Excuse. Excuse, because somewhere somebody with 5 more kids than you still did it. Somewhere somebody decided that even if their husband couldn't see, they was gonna see their vision for themselves. Somewhere somebody didn't have any money, but they had the muscle and the mindset to get access to as much free stuff as they could, and they saved a penny every damn day in order to then get the money to be able to make the investment. Somewhere, somehow, somebody said, you know what, I literally can only put 20 minutes a day into my business, but instead of whining and bitching and quitting a job prematurely and not having no income and trying to build my business and then crying about it, I would rather give 20 damn minutes a day. And their 20 minutes a day means more than your 3 months of trying to make your business manifest overnight. And they did it. And they did it. And they're still doing it. And you are still trying to figure out, you talking about a dream that you've had for 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, some people 2 decades or more. And at some point, you have to realize that the only reason why it's not manifesting is because you are the living excuse. You have to have skin in the game. And the ideal of having skin in the game scares the shit out of most of you all. You said if you're not willing to be all in, you are wasting your time. Yes. And the last thing I'm going to say is this: as a coach that will be all in for her clients, it is very nerve-wracking, and I will eventually drop people if I realize I'm in it more than you are. See, you got a season and you got a time frame for which I will hold you up. But when the scales start tipping, and this is how I know that it's time to change. See, in the beginning, there's a certain burden I allow myself to carry. It's like a mama having a new child and having to carry it on that pouch, because they can't walk and they can't do anything. And I know that the clarity's not there, and I know that it's not there. But you know what? When you start learning how to walk, if you still, mama carry me, boy, you better get your butt down and walk. Because in the beginning, it's like, oh my God, let me help my baby. And even if they tired, it's like, but they can't walk, so I got to carry them. But when I know that you can do something, you don't do it, then you become burdensome. See, but if I know that you're walking and you actually got a little stride and you started running and you fell down and scraped your knee and I got to hold you on, come on, I got you, we going to walk through this together, then I'm willing to carry you some more. And you guys you know what I'm talking about, because you have those clients that when you get through working with them, they exhaust you. You feel so damn tired. You could have a tense ass call with a client and still get off of it like, yes, but they're going to get their breakthrough. Attention does not mean fatigue. There's a difference between the two, because I've had rough moments with clients and I still just get off of it like, God, please allow them to be able to see and have hope. But when you get to the point that you're drained, then that means you got more skin in the game than the client does. And I'm going to tell you something. When somebody else is believing in themselves and implementing, as a coach, another layer of fire rises up in me. And I'm able to stand up even the more, because I got to be that support, because I know what it was like to want and yearn for that support. And so if you put all the skin in the game, a lot of you all just don't know, like that proverb that says when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. A lot of you all are missing the opportunities because you're not showing up. You're not willing to deal with the scrapes, the bumps, and the bruises. And so some of us are just sitting back looking at you and saying, oh, okay. I see she says she's a business owner, but I don't have nothing for her. There's nothing that I can or that I will do for her because I don't do welfare cases. That's what the government has systems for. Real talk. And you all need to know this is coming from a woman who on a regular basis gives coaching in some form of fashion pro bono, from a person on a regular basis who makes sure that every once in a while I go above and beyond to show up for clients on days that quote unquote should be my off days. And I balance it off and make sure that I still get my breaks, but I'll be there. I'll be there. I'm always there. There isn't a single client that I have that could ever say that I was not there to a degree that was unfathomable in their own mind. But every single one of them, it was either the grace of God that was on me to give it to them, or it was because of my natural observation of what they actually did. So from an intuitive standpoint and from a practical standpoint, I'm willing to go all in. But I'm never willing to go all in with somebody else that's bulljacking around. So if I'm going to sacrifice my time for my family in order to be there for you, you damn sure better sacrifice shit for yourself. That's where this comes from. And I can talk about this very, very intently for the simple fact that I will take, and my husband, he'll support me. Go ahead, baby. Do what you got to do. Okay, I got the kids. If this is what you feel led to do it. So don't sit there and then let me sacrifice all I have to be there for you, but you won't sacrifice all that you have to be there for yourself. How bad do you want it?
Exactly.
So that's it, y'all.
We can't do the work for you. We can lead you. We can tell you where to look. We can focus you a little bit, but you still got to do the work. You still got to show up.
So there it is, you guys. So we at about at the hour. You know what? We might have to bring this back around next week. Hopefully Zoom will be there so we can actually dialogue this thing out with you guys. Maybe not. We'll just see what next week brings. Always, Pika, thank you for being here with us. Always. And we gonna get out.
Thank you to everybody with all the comments. Thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for participating. It would have been nice to have you on the dialogue. But until next time, deuces.
Thank you for joining me today. Remember to cultivate a mindset that is biased towards taking action. No bitching, whining, or complaining. Here, our mantra is, real women don't bitch, we get shit done. See you next week as I continue to bring you what you need to keep your head in the game and beast your business. Don't forget to hit subscribe and leave us a 5-star review. Would you like a specific topic covered? Have a question you would like answered live? Then head on over to realwomen.don't bitch podcast.com. Subscribe to my email list, hit me up, and I got you. Interested in being a guest speaker? You walk the walk? Then you can sign up on the website too. This is your #1 advanced mental conditioning specialist for entrepreneurs, Mrs. Raw, Real, and Relentless. Signing out. Deuces.
Inspire, empower, grab your girls and soar a little higher. Unlock the fire in you.